Am I the only one showing my face today? Oh, there's Micaiah. I called you Micaiah, but I know it's Micah. Sorry about that.
Hey Rusty, did you take care of my friend Tracy? Did he have you
Yes,
guys do that?
I did. We finished yesterday. Um,
Awesome.
I only charged them like $500 more. We dug under a gas line. We added about a total of 12 feet of sewer line, took it up to the foundation so Tracy could get rid of that. And then we also added a bidirectional clean out for ease of access in the future.
That's awesome. He was very happy to get that done, so I'm glad it worked out. I
Yes.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the business.
You bet.
I see faces. Thank you. I felt like I was talking to a dark screen here.
Hi, Rusty. Is this all going to be about crap today, or?
Crap. No, I mean, you shouldn't spend it. Oh, Raylan about fell down the stairs. That almost turned into crap. No, we'll leave septic and sewer out of it, although it is a big part of y'all's job,
It is.
more than we want. Okay, top of the hour, 10 a.m. Everybody ready to get going? I'd turn off my heater. I know that's counterproductive with running my AC, but I freeze. Keep this house cold. Okay, so I want to talk about something that we have to deal with every day, but we just don't really talk about it all that much. And I know I was reflecting on Tuesday's meeting, and it did make me think of some of the things that Lonnie had said. But I'm going to put in the chat. I'm going to read this to you guys. Maybe, maybe not. So the topic is, emotions in real estate. So we chose, and the reality of real estate is we chose one of the few professions where we can do everything right and still lose. A buyer can change their mind, a seller can get unrealistic, financing can fall apart, appraisals can come in low, and the market can shift overnight. The challenge isn't avoiding the emotional highs and lows. The challenge is learning how to navigate them without letting them define us. I personally thought that was pretty deep, and I go through that my own self. So I figured with some of us veterans, I'm even putting myself in the veteran category. And some of us that are new and fresh, there's a lot of emotional roller coasters that you go through with real estate, and it's really important that you learn how to navigate that process because at the end of the day, like that's the strongest is going to survive, and it does take a toll on you. But I think it's learning and understanding how to deal with that, keep it positive, and that way you'll become the best agent you can. So I have some questions, and I was looking for some group interaction today to be able to help old and new. Like, what was one of the most emotional transaction you've ever been involved in, and like what made it emotional for you? And I will start off with one. I had a first-time home buyer over in Peculiar dealing with our buddy Ashley Dwyer. Great agent if you guys ever get to work with her. First time home buyer, looked at a lot of houses. This house was perfect for him. It was over there off of J Highway, and went and did all the inspections, and the septic tank had to should probably be replaced and all the things. And he chose, like we had the discussion multiple times, he chose to write this contract as an as-is condition so he could get it, even though I suggested otherwise. He was way more, intelligent than me because, I've not been through this multiple times, but then had the audacity at the very end to turn and look at me and say, I'm a first time home buyer. I don't feel like you explained this clearly to me. My mouth dropped, my heart dropped, and literally, and I don't let this happen anymore, but it was a Saturday, and I slept the rest of the day. Like, it took me on the most emotional roller coaster devastation that I failed my client, even though I don't think I did after reflection later. And I did look back at all my text messages, but he did make me feel that way. And there to me was nothing worse than failing my client. So that emotion just, I'll never forget it. It was probably one of the worst things I felt in my career so far. So how I dealt with that was taking a deep breath, reflecting, and reminding myself that he didn't listen to me correctly. I even have text messages to prove it. He just wanted to have somebody to blame to make himself feel better. And I was his punching bag. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll load one in there, Rusty. Sorry, my voice is terrible. But we
Okay.
had a deal in Belton, my team did. We represented the buyer. The buyer was a first-time buyer, not a lot of money, did everything right. Once they moved in the house, they even had some financial problems. Nanette actually helped them give them money for Christmas, not a loan, just gave them money, hundreds of dollars. Just stuff like that. Just, honestly, stuff I would have done, Nanette did. So proud of her. 6 months later, we get a letter that we didn't represent them very well. The house has all kinds of problems and they're suing us. Yes. So anyway, we went right back at them with a pretty aggressive letter, not to mention, the fact that you may be looking past some things that we did for you. And we never heard another peep on it. But in the moment, it was about as shitty a thing as you're going to deal with. And Nanette, it was like a double gut punch because of the personal things she did for this family and them just forgetting about all of that. So these things happen. We talked about it at a team meeting, Tuesday. I get to deal with a lot of our people that are going through that. And it saddens me because I see it just crush them. It takes the wind out of their sails, even if they're having a great month or a great quarter. And it's such a setback, but we've just got to figure out how to overcome it, and just kind of put our head down and focus on what's the task at hand and keep going.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else have any of those situations, or like what
Had
was?
one with another agent that it got so heated that she couldn't even. I just had to call her broker and talk to the broker because I couldn't have a conversation with her without her screaming at me. She didn't speak very well English. I don't think that's very. My mom was an English teacher. I'm sure that was correct right there. But it was awful. And my people had moved out. They were moved their kids to another school. The day of closing, they didn't sign up to close, and then they demanded $5,000 more worth of stuff be done in order for us to get closed. And so we did a couple of the things because some of the things were I told them beforehand. I'm like, yeah, that electrical box might not pass. If we go back to market, we might have to get that done anyways. So we did one of those things and things like that. And then they didn't show up to close again. And then the ladies on the thing screaming at me. It was the wildest transaction. And then sure enough, they ended up closing because her broker told her and her clients that you guys are coming in to sign today, or you guys are getting sued. We had to get lawyers and everything involved. And then sure enough, James Mooningham, whenever he still worked here, had the same deal with that same agent. And the week of closing, they came back and said, oh, well, somehow they figured out what the appraisal came back at and said, oh, well, we need another $6,000 or we're not going to be able to sell it to you guys today. Because they sold it a week after they moved into the house. And just same crap on the other side. I don't know what it, I mark agents like that in my phone because I don't have time to deal with crap like that. And neither do my clients. They were stressed. They moved, their whole family moved school districts and their house didn't close because people didn't show up. So, I remember Darren was on the phone. I was like, I'll have my broker call your broker because you guys are crazy. So some of those, I didn't do anything wrong. My clients didn't do anything wrong, but it was still I couldn't sleep because my clients are like, what are we going to do? We already moved everything and we were supposed to, we signed, everybody signed. Those are the ones that I think are the worst that literally I do things wrong all the time, but I didn't do anything wrong there. My clients didn't do anything wrong. And we still, got into a terrible situation. And then you almost feel helpless because you're how, we can't force these people to sign, or we go back to market and start this over, but the people already moved. So it's kind of a very tricky situation where nobody did anything wrong, but it was still, I'm losing sleep over it because I feel so bad for my clients. They're calling me in tears And they're like, why won't they sign? I'm like, I don't know because they're crazy.
True.
Yeah. And then they did the same thing to freaking James 2 months later.
McClay.
Yeah, Mooneyham.
Oh, Mooneyham.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are those people out there. So what did you do to overcome that? Like what got you past that emotion and how to handle that with your client?
So men, what we do is we put all our emotions in a box, and then one day we die. That's why we stroke out in our 50s.
I
No,
expected you to say bourbon or whiskey or something.
no, usually if I get super stressed like that, I always go back to try to teamify it. I talk to them, say, okay, so we're going to figure this out. I know this, like we're doing everything right. Like we're on the same page, me and my client. And that helps if we're button heads in a situation that's not our fault, then that's when I think it gets really bad. But like I always try to make sure that we're on the same team first off. And then I always let them know I'm like, hey, I've got your back no matter what. Like we're gonna get through this, get things like that. And then to calm them down, and that calms me down a little bit. And then usually I just like go on walks or
Mhm.
go play a sport or something to clear my mind, go occupy and kind of clear my mind a little bit. And then I'll come back to it because sometimes I'll get flustered and be like, I'm going to call this lady right now and tell her she's going to sign or I'm going to set her house on fire because I'm so amped up at the time.
For those of you that are new, don't set people's houses on fire.
Unless they don't sign the contract. I'm just kidding. But no, sometimes I get like that. I'm like, I can't, like, what is wrong with, like, you just get so frustrated. So I just have to kind of push the reset button, go on a walk,
Good.
go
That's a great way to handle it.
do
For those of
something.
you that are just joining, like this topic is about the reality of real estate and emotions are a big topic. And we don't talk about this a lot. Lonnie did touch on this on Tuesday a little bit, but I just thought it would be a good time to, for some veterans to let some of you younger agents know, like, please don't get discouraged. You have this entire team in this office. It's just I go to all different kinds of brokerages and there isn't a team like this out there. So like you should know of how important the community that we have here is. So my next question is like what out of some of you too that are veterans or even new people, like what deal fell apart that taught you the biggest lesson in your career? I see everyone's brains moving up there on the top
Hey,
panel.
I've got one.
Yeah.
And I guess in this case, the deal didn't necessarily fall apart, but we sent over listing documents to a couple and we had his email address wrong by one digit or one character. So they didn't get it. And I assumed they both got the documents and we were going to list the house and buy a new house. And, so like 24 hours later, I reached out and he said, we never got paperwork from you. We called another agent. And I'm like, crap, that sucks. And that's not really what I said. But I was once I dug into it and figured out what happened, I apologized. And I said, I'm very, very sorry that happened. I understand why you went another direction because I know you're in a hurry and was very apologetic. Well, it turns out the other agent they talked to just didn't communicate worth a damn, even with the right email address. So they called me back, and I helped them sell their home and buy a brand new home anyway. So if something doesn't go your way, there's a mistake, an issue. like, there's a deer in my driveway. Accept the responsibility for the mistake, apologize, and be humble, and maybe it'll still work out. So.
Yeah, that worked out really, really well for you. So what was your lesson in that?
Um, don't burn their house down and don't get frustrated when things don't work out initially. And then if there's a mistake, own it. Even if it's like your TC who makes the mistake, own it. And who knows, things might turn around.
Yeah, absolutely. People are humans. We make mistakes. And I think probably the biggest thing that you said that stood out is that focus on taking on that responsibility and taking on the error. I think that goes a long way with people. What about Ryan, how have you personally recovered after losing a listing or a deal? Other than whiskey and being on mute.
There we go. I was on mute, so you couldn't hear me cursing. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing, and Jake's not wrong. You know, we definitely bottle stuff up, and you know, it's you know, and I go choke people in the morning. That helps out a lot to get out some frustration. It's good, and it's all right. But you know, you got to get past those things, and sometimes you do lose listings. It is frustrating. I was trying to think of a good example of you know, something that went wrong, but I don't have the perfect example. But what I would say is is basically what I do if something does go wrong, and it doesn't matter who on the team does it. And Paul, you kind of alluded this as well. It doesn't matter who did it. It's my fault. It went wrong. I own the whole thing, and I like to step up and basically I'm more frustrated about it than them. And when they bring it to my attention, I listen to what it is that they're saying, and I let them know maybe something went wrong with somebody, you know, was in their house on a showing and did something or moved something or something. And I just basically I get more upset about it than they do. I go, that's completely unacceptable. That is unprofessional. We do not allow that. I'm going to make a call right now to them. I'm going to let them know exactly what happened, and I expect an apology. And I can promise you this is not going to happen again. And is there anything else I can do to make it right? And usually a lot of times they're like, oh, it's okay. We just want to bring it to you. We just wanted to let you know what was going on. But letting them know that you're on their side every time, or letting them know that whatever went wrong, you're going to fix it. And yeah, you know what? This sucks. Sometimes fixing it costs us money. But it's okay because that's why we do what we do. We don't always throw money at a problem. It's not the go-to. I can guarantee you it's not the go-to, but it is a resort that if sometimes it is necessary, we will throw some money at something. But a lot of times it's just making sure that they're heard, and we acknowledge them. We take responsibility, and we let them know exactly what the course of action is from there.
Yeah, owning it. I think that's huge.
I'd say on that
And
too, Ryan. I have a bad tendency of sometimes of over apologizing. So I have to get onto myself. I'm like, okay, I'm going to apologize for it. I'm going to fix it. And then I'm going to leave it there.
Yeah.
Because if I keep reminding them about that mess up, that's what they're going to remember from the transaction.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's good.
Yes. Sandy, you've been at this for a minute. Give us one of your biggest lessons in the real estate career, like with a deal falling apart that taught you the biggest lesson.
Well, I've had several probably throughout the years, but I've most recently had two where I didn't get the listing and I had a buyer fire me. And so, and I still don't know what I did wrong or if I did anything wrong. Sometimes I think when that happens, it's more that we don't know what's going on in their life pretty much. And so I think the buyer that fired me had more going on in her life than I knew. And I couldn't read her. She was all over the place. And so I kept having to go back to why she hired me in the beginning. But anyway, to your point of how do I handle that? It's hard. It's not easy, but I think I always text Lonnie when I get fired.
No,
And he
everybody
always
does
says,
that. I'm like, nobody ever hears the bad stuff.
I know. So then he says, think about all the good things you got going on and forget about that. So I did. And I just move on. I'm not for everyone, that's for sure. I do what I can, but I don't necessarily say I'm sorry because mistakes happen. We're all humans. And my husband always says, don't say you're sorry. Like it just sounds so weak.
Yeah.
Move on. And I do. I accept what I did, but I don't say I'm sorry because I mean, all the time you don't even know you did something to say you're sorry about. So I just don't.
Yeah,
Move on.
I can relate to that because I've been showing properties to these folks for a year. I've even set up builder meetings. Like, I mean, I have handheld these folks. And then just one day they told me, I sent the listing revision, to do another year with them. And they messaged and said, why would you ever send this to us? And I said, because our contract's about to expire. Like, I mean, at this point, I had no idea what was going on. And they said, we're choosing to go another route. And it's like, I said, well, like, can you explain, like, can you help me? Like, I don't understand what happened. Like, what's happening? Like, I need something. And still, I've gotten nothing. I've even messaged their friends and nothing. So things like that really make you stop and think, what am I doing? Like, why does this hurt so bad? And it's because we're so passionate about helping people and we want to get them to the finish line. And there's really nothing in those scenarios that you can do other than take advice from like Lonnie and look at all the good things that you've done for these people and all the things that you're else that's going on in your life to get past that.
And I also have fired a few people,
Hmm.
and like two, um, both of which I knew. I mean, they needed it. I couldn't do what they were expecting. And I felt like we kept going under contract on houses and then they would cancel after they did the inspection. So they were paying for all the inspections. And the very last time on one of the guys, it was the third house, third inspection. He said, "Oh, I don't want this house." He said, "I'm Sandy, you're going to find me another one." I said, "No," because he goes, "We're going to cancel." And I go, "Well, along with that cancellation, I'm canceling my buyer agency agreement." I said, "I'm obviously don't know what you're looking for." He goes, "What?" And so he said, he called me because I just walked off and I locked the house and walked off. And he called me and said, "Will you show me these 5 houses? And I promise I won't do that again." I go, "It's not that you're doing that, it's that you don't know maybe what you're looking for either. Maybe you need to revisit that." But anyway, long story short, is he did end up buying one and he didn't cancel on the next one. Sometimes you just got to tell them like it is.
Lay down the law.
She
Yes,
did.
I did. I didn't like doing that because I had a lot of time invested, but I was sick and tired of it. Like, I'm over this.
Yeah, no, that was a powerful move on your part. And that was you standing up for yourself and for like the real estate, world of like, hey, we're wasting time doing this kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Hey, Shelby,
Okay.
like what's your what in your real estate that creates the most stress for you today?
Um, stress. Unexpected text messages. I almost wish we didn't have texting because the tone people send across, the way they just send stuff, but they don't say, "Hi, Shelby, it's 8:30 at night. I'm so sorry to reach out." It's most of the time, "Hey, I don't understand this," or whatever the case may be. And it's like there's no personal boundary on my family life. So I am heavily stressing to people that I am 8 to 6 and I work way more hours than most people have to work for a normal job. And after 6, if you don't hear back from me, I'll get back to you first thing the next morning. But just trying more and more to draw those boundaries because Eric said, I never realized because he's the one that talked me into this. And I dearly love this job, but he said I never realized how bad people would treat my wife in this career because they're not nice to me. Sometimes I like everybody else in this call, I can literally do everything right. And then it's still and I think to myself, gosh, I wish they would have had somebody else that didn't care as much and then they would appreciate the heck out of me. So just we got to keep our heads up. And when those situations occur, you just got to pick up the phone, make 5 phone calls to your favorite people. Don't even bring up what happened and reboot. And I'm going to try to be better about rebooting because I do the same thing as everybody else in our team. I take it straight to heart. And I was like, okay, I talked to Edward Jones guy a couple weeks ago. And I said, you need to tell us how much money we need to retire because I can't do this like forever because it literally keeps me up at night and I love it and I just want to help people. So I got to save money and I got to keep just being me and doing the right thing every single time. And if they don't like me for doing the right thing, then I don't want to be a part of the situation. So, but yeah, I think everybody in our team, and I'm just grateful to be able to make a quick phone call and, decompress, move on. So let it roll off your back. So, because I don't think they realize the way they're coming across sometimes. So that's all I
That
got.
does
What?
that does get easier, Shelby. I
Oh,
used
good.
to, when I first began, I used to, I couldn't sleep. I'd wake up in the middle of the night thinking, oh my gosh, but it does get easier. And I do realize though, as time has went on that when you said you're setting boundaries, you have to. They don't even care. You think they care, but they don't. Like I told one lady, I said, my kids are having a barbecue for my birthday. And I said, so I won't be available. Guess what she wanted to do on my birthday? Show houses. So I fired her because she literally didn't care about what I have going on. And I was always at her beck and call, but that one time, and it wasn't about my birthday. I mean, I've had lots of them. It was about that other people were involved in it, making it happen. And I wasn't there. I left and showed her houses, but I was so pissed the whole time. Yeah. So then I thought, you know what? It's not worth it. She doesn't care about me. Why am I caring about her? So, yeah, you just have to set those boundaries and go get somebody else who does care, you know?
Sandy, early in my career, um, I was showing houses to a guy and he called mid-afternoon or whatever, midweek, and he says, hey, I want to make an offer on that house we looked at. He said, I can be at your office at 7. Well, that same night, my daughter, who was probably 6 or 7 or 8 at the time, was in a play. And I chose to wait for this guy to write an offer on a house and missed her play. And then he called, he didn't even call. It was about 7:15 and I called him. I said, where are you at? And he said, well, I've decided I'm going to wait. I'm not sure I want that house.
Wow.
So guess when the last time I did that was that night. And then everything else, uh, if I've got a birthday or a dinner or anything else going on, to the general public, it's, oh, sorry, I've already got appointments at that time. They don't care about your personal life. You just have to tell them you're tied up showing other houses or lie to them or whatever.
Right.
I think
I
that's
agree.
that's huge on when you set that expectation, saying that I have appointments. I mean, we all know that we're doing personal things, but like you said, the general public does not care about your personal life at all. It's kind of all about them in the moment. But I think that's a great thing for you newer agents to take on of, make sure you say, hey, I'm already showing houses at this time. Let's shoot for tomorrow at whatever, works best for you and them.
I think it's important. Ryan always tells me to put my
Hey,
personal
Ray.
appointments on my calendar.
Your personal appointments on your calendar.
Yep. So if I want to golf on a Wednesday for a specific time, put that on my calendar, and I can't show houses during then because I already have a thing. I have to show houses later that day or on Saturday, but if I've got it on there, so I can't do it at this time to this time, I can get a showing assistant to help you. My mom can go show you, or Alex or whoever is available if that's the only time you can, but I just can't be there.
Yeah.
And people say no one's ever been upset with me about that. And if they are, then I don't want to work with them.
I think most people just want to get their foot in the door anyways, just to see the house. It's not like you can't take them and go back and look at them, at a later date as well.
Yeah, you know what? Alex he's been doing this for a long time. He helps me out with a lot of buyers. I'm not available at that time, but he is, so he's going to open the door and kind of let me know what's going on.
Absolutely.
No one's ever said or been upset about that.
Mm-mm.
There's
No,
only
because
one of me.
you're communicating and you're setting, you're
Taking care
letting
of
them
them.
know you still have somebody there to support them.
Yeah, and somebody that I trust and that I tell them and say, hey, this person's going to do a good job for you, just like I would if I was there. And then him and I are going to discuss and we'll get you taken care of. That's all they just want to be taken care of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the
We're going
communication.
to be replaced by AI robots soon.
No, we're not. We might, but we're not going there. Shelby, let's flip back on the positive side. So what has been a situation that has made you feel most blessed and happy in your real estate career?
I am incredibly grateful for several different clients that send me the referrals because then I can continue to build my business. And I've had a lot of wonderful transactions. My best friend asked me to sell their home, and it was the very first home I sold, and I didn't know really what I was doing. And so I'm just like forever grateful to them that they gave me that opportunity. And every time I talk to her, I remind her, thanks for giving me a chance. And but yeah, if you show up for people in their lives, it will always come back. Oh my God, I just realized I forgot to take her a gift for her baby. I forgot all about that. Anyways, but yes, but yeah, so it just always show up for people and it will always pay off in the end. But it's fun to see the closing. Like yesterday, I helped somebody close, and it is somebody like I knew their parents and for like almost 20 years. So it was pretty cool to help their child buy land. So that was extra special. So, but yeah, it can be there's a lot of wins. I get to pick my kids up and take them to school every day. That's my big win.
That's huge. Yeah, a lot of parents do not get to do that. So those wins outweigh the negative of the stress that you feel with some of your other clients. Good. That's huge. I like to see your smile when you're nodding so proudly about that. What is the biggest mistake that has cost you the most money in real estate? I almost thought I had one yesterday, but Darren talked me off the ledge, so we're good. I went ahead and jumped and ordered all the inspections and everything because we've got to move really quick on this deal so my people don't end up homeless. And I was concerned about the seller. They were just like, "Hey, don't do them yet. Let me get it to the lender. Let me get it to title, and then we'll, make this contract active." But in my mind, everyone has signed everything, right? So as far as I'm concerned, we're ready to rock and roll, and I move real quick. So my biggest concern was, oh my gosh, am I gonna have to pay for all their inspections if something goes wrong here? And I would have because I'm the one that made the decision to move forward quickly. So any other cost you the money's made a mistake that you owned up to and lessons learned?
Form 600, and that what Lonnie always calls it. Costs you about $600 when you make a mistake. I
Sounds
mean,
familiar.
I forgot a warranty once to get it submitted, and the sellers were paying for it, and I just forgot to order it. That was $700. And I mean, it was just something I completely forgot about. So I don't forget those anymore.
Nope.
I
Yeah.
I learned a big lesson with answering phone calls while I'm driving down the road from other agents. And so I didn't have to do this. And you've heard the story at team meeting before, but somebody called me and I got that agent mixed up with the wrong house because I had a few going on. And the lady said, "Does the washer and dryer stay?" And I said, "Oh yeah, it does." Well, that was the wrong house. It didn't. So when I got home, my husband's my sounding board, by the way. So I said, oh no, I told her the washer and dryer was staying. Talking out loud, and I go, and it's not. And he goes, well, you need to do the right thing. And I thought, I don't want to buy a washer and dryer, but I did. I called her and told her it was the wrong house. She goes, well, I already told my buyer. And so I felt kind of bad. So we did drop off a washer and dryer there for the buyer. But
That was kind of
so,
you.
Very nice.
yeah, lesson is talk, don't just talk.
Yeah.
Don't even answer the phone while you're driving down the road. Wait till you have the document in front of you.
Yeah,
When else do you have time to talk?
that's good.
I know, right? Well, as long as you have the document in front of you, you're good to talk. But if you don't
It
do it.
happens, Sandy. On something like that, I usually say, "Yeah, I think it does. Let me check the disclosure when I get stopped, and I'll
Yes.
verify that."
Yeah,
But
that
was
would have
very
been
sweet
better.
of you. That's very sweet of you to own that, and that was not a cheap gift there.
Yeah.
No, well, I try to do the right thing always.
Mhm.
It's my motto. So,
Do unto others as you'd have done unto you, correct?
yeah. I do feel like I saved a lawsuit happening just recently, if anybody wants to hear about that.
You share.
Well, so I'm under contract with a new construction, and we all know they get wet in the basement a lot. But this particular house was going to have a finished basement. So the first time it got wet, there was no finished basement. The sump pump got unplugged by one of the contractors. Second time, the drywall was in. So that was a problem. They had to cut it all out and it was all laying in the middle. But anyway, it was kind of a long story. So it did it 3 times, but I woke up in the middle of the night thinking, you got to do a mold test. Because I mean, you couldn't smell it or see it, but it stayed wet for a long time, like 30 days it had stuff in the middle of the floor. And so maybe the walls aren't moldy, but that stuff in the middle of the floor after 3 days, it turns to, starts growing mold, the mold guy said. So anyway, we had it tested and it had very, very high levels for humans. And it wasn't the bad mold, the black mold. It was the Aspergillus penicillium, they call it. But the levels that it was equivalent to black mold for health hazards for humans. So anyway, point of my story is, had I not gotten that house tested, because the buyer's like, do you think it needs to? And anyway, I was like, never wonder, just do it. It's $400. It's well worth the effort before anybody moves in, before anybody gets sick.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. It would have been on the news, I'm pretty sure. So anyway, so all it did was to delay our closing one day
Yeah.
to have all this mitigated and everything done. So not bad.
That was you going above and beyond for your clients and being the professional that you are, you're able to guide them and help them make better choices to protect their health and their investment.
Yeah. I'm just really glad I did it. Actually, I heard another house, $1 million house in Leawood, maybe, I don't know, that every room of the house had extremely high levels of mold in it. And the builder was actually on the news. I don't know if y'all saw it. He's like, well, I tried to mitigate it, but it just got too far. You know what I mean? It should have. I almost think because we don't know everything that goes on with these new builds, I almost think maybe we test every one of them. It may be a $400 well spent thing. I kept going to that house without anybody knowing, or I wouldn't have known all that it even got wet because there's no seller's disclosure or anything.
Yeah.
So,
Interesting. Yeah, that's a good point. I like that. I wouldn't have thought of that. But whenever they're building those houses, and like this year we've had a ton of rain, right? And
yes.
the wood is susceptible, it's all open, it's absorbing the moisture, and then they go in and they seal it all up. I mean, that's exactly what can happen. And you're not going to always know that.
Yeah, and they're really trying not to tear out things they don't have to. And so the vanity in the bathroom in the basement, you could clearly see 6 inches up, it had soaked water. And they said, well, we're going to fix the side of that. And I said, no, we're not. This is not a remodel. This is a new build. We're going to have a new vanity. And so they did. They put a new vanity. But
You go, Sandy.
well, I think you have to,
Good
you know,
job.
if it's new, it's new. If it's a remodel, it's a remodel, you know? I just thought I wouldn't want vanity like that. And it also traps water, could have. So if you would have removed it, there was probably mold growing up the back, they said. The mold guy said. So anyway,
That's a
just
great,
sometimes just have to think outside of the box, I guess.
yeah. Well, I mean, and through your experience, we've all learned something new today. So I thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Okay, this is a question. I think Lonnie, I'm gonna put this to you. Like, what's harder emotionally, a slower market or a busy market?
Well, it's a different kind of hard. One, you're busy and stressed and making a ton of money, and the other one, you have plenty of time on your hands, so you're not stressed from that aspect, but you're also not making any money and building any wealth. So I know early in my career, I would have been far more stressed by a slow market. Now there's times that we welcome that maybe a little bit more, but yeah, I'll take the pressure of being busy and crushing it versus the pressure of not seeing any revenue coming into the business.
Yeah, I think most of us probably would agree with that. Anyone have a debate against that that would maybe prefer a slower market in certain times?
How slow a market?
Yeah.
Enough to go on vacation, Ryan.
I would take that then, yes, yeah. But if you're looking at like, 60 days on market, 70 days on market, sign me up, because your listing's got time to work, you got time to market, let the marketing work, collect buyers off of those listings, sign more listings so that you have the turnover that you need to have. So versus, only needing like one or two listings at a time in a market that they're selling in, 5 or 10 days, you may need to have 10 or 12 or 14 listings if they're selling in 70 days, but it's the same amount of money, you just go get more listings. But when they're turning so fast, sometimes you don't even get your pictures up, and you don't even like all that. So it's a different kind of hard. And Lonnie's right. I mean, you pick it, and when things are flying, you're working 8 days a week, and when they're not flying, you're doing a lot of market research and touches and contacts and updating your clients, staying hired and all that. So it doesn't get easier one way or the other. It's just pick which one you want. So, but if you can navigate both of them, you'll stay in this business a long time.
Yeah, I think if our budgeting and everything is in order and we're not spending every dollar that we make in the busy times, that really helps in the slow times. When you pay yourself a salary and you're not banking on that next paycheck to hit because you've got it in the bank and it's going to pay you. That makes the slow times almost enjoyable because you're like, hey, I can enjoy Christmas today because we already bought our presents and I know my paycheck's coming in on the first, and let's enjoy the day. Whereas at the beginning, it wasn't like that. I'm like, I don't have any sales today. I need to go work on Christmas. Like, let's go.
Yeah. What
What you're
is, oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, so what Jake did was turned his real estate job into a business by paying himself and paying taxes as he goes and all that stuff. So that's one of the great things about Keller Williams, I feel like, is it's not just about selling real estate, it's about, being the CEO of your business and being able to run it as such. So not always being a starving agent.
Yeah, and we just launched the I forget what the name of it was, like RE
RE
platform
Profit.
profit yesterday. So
RE.
I didn't get to attend that, so I assume that was recorded, so I can go back and look at that. But I mean, that's a huge step in the right direction to get your business acting and being a true business, is making for sure that you guys have everything slotted out and you're paying yourself, you're planning and doing all the things and having your PN that will keep your P&L in order makes taxes at the end of the year a lot better. And also remember, don't commingle. What is the biggest like emotional high that you've experienced in real estate, Trisha?
Such a tough time to talk about my highs at the moment because there have been
Oh.
hard ones. But um, I think I think what I find to make me feel like I'm successful in it and that I feel like it's positive is when it doesn't always go perfect through the whole thing, but that your client still trusts you in the process, that they still stay on your team. So when I feel like we're teaming it, even if things go crazy, it's so worth the effort that you're still putting into it. So I find a lot of success when there's that ongoing trust value from beginning to end. So that to me, I find when even Shelby talked about the time and I think some of your clients feel like they're the only client that you're working with. And I know that you want them to feel that important and that special and that. And so trying to balance of going, you are so important and I'm really prioritizing you because that's one reason you chose me. You felt like that would be that. But at the same time, you know, you're texting me at 10 o'clock at night because you're young and that's when you're looking at things. I'm not young. I'm not looking at things. So I find that to be kind of like Shelby, the hard point for me. So my emotional roller coaster at times is how do I ride with those and still create my safe boundaries and how to enjoy the ones that really want to partner with you from through the whole process that get that you're a human. And yeah, they often have jobs and they will say my job won't allow me to look at homes between now and then. I get that. So I knew that going in, but I think they forget that I am working the whole time,
Mm-hmm.
day and evening. So yeah, my high is when they will partner with me.
Be on your team, not against you. Joanna, I'd like for you to give us one of your highest emotional wins that you've had in real estate.
Well, let me say some of the lows first because I mean, one time I had a buyer, this was early on, and we kept writing offers. This was in 20 or 21 when the market was crazy. And I kept telling him what we needed to do, and he wouldn't go as high as I thought we needed to go, and this and that. And I remember writing an offer, and we didn't get it. And the very next thing I get a cancellation, and I'm like, wait, what? You canceled me because we didn't get the offer, but you didn't do what I said. So it's like, ah. So anyway, um, and then the Apollosa house right here, I was really, I had that house, really thought I would get the listing again. It expired half the time she was off the market, fixing things and whatever. And I even ran into them and they said they were going to list with me again. And I had a plan that we needed to go down to the right price eventually. And then, but my problem was that I was worried. I didn't want to bug them. So I should have just stopped over there and told them what my plan was, but I didn't. And then I hear all of a sudden they're going with somebody else. And that really hurt because I felt like we really had a great relationship. We had everything was good. And then they went with somebody else. And so it stinks when they don't choose you and you think they're going to. So yeah, I've had my share of things that were didn't work out also. But I think when they call you and some people you kind of are after for a long time and you think, why aren't they calling me? Well, they're just not ready yet. And when they do finally call you and say, hey, I want you to come over, that's like exciting every time. Like, oh, they are going to use me. So it's great when they call you and want to use you. Yeah.
Especially repeat clients too.
Yeah.
Makes you feel really good.
Yeah.
Well,
I just had it happen yesterday. I was meeting with a client and she said, well, my sister's asked if my realtor was even still in business. And I said, what are you talking about? She goes, well, you haven't been calling me. And I said, well, no, you are 75 years old and you just moved to a new house and you're working on getting your other one ready. If somebody bothered me while they were in that while I was in that process, I would think it was inconsiderate. So I just straight up said, like, nope, I knew you were working and I was never going to be a burden. But there is a happy medium. I'm in the same situation, Joanna. I try to be a little bit more cautious of their feelings, but I guess I need to just bug them. I guess I want to be bugged. I don't know.
I think some of them get in such a routine with talking to you all the time. And I'm gonna assume in that demographic, she probably missed you a little bit of talking. So, she probably appreciated your friendship and all the things. And then one day was like, maybe, like she expected the phone call again. So yeah, I mean, that's a good lesson to think of, in the future of, hey, do you need anything? Just checking in on you, right? Good. I'm gonna give you guys this and we'll open it up for discussion. So my final thought, the most successful agents aren't the ones who never experience disappointment, stress, or rejection. They're the ones who learn how to keep showing up anyway. The market will change, the deals will fall apart, challenges will come. But if you stay consistent, keep learning, and keep serving people, you'll outlast most of the competition. So with
Like
that,
that. That's great.
yeah, I just wanted to, I really, emotions are such a big deal that we deal with every single day in this career. It's important to talk about. We're not alone. We all have them. And probably the best thing I can say on this call is that we all have each other to bounce things off of. Everyone's always a phone call or a text away for help, and we need that. So kudos to everyone on this team that showed up for this call and that's always there whenever we need each other. So I will open this up. Does anyone have anything that they would like to discuss?
I'd like to say that if you do lose a listing, like you don't get to keep it or you didn't get it, give it to someone you know as a referral and let them go get it
Mhm.
and still get paid on it. So why not?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, because you're still winning,
Yes.
right?
You
You're
would.
you're helping your client, your potential or was client, whatever, and you're still making money. So it's a win-win.
You're indirectly helping them. They
Yeah,
don't know it, that you're indirectly helping them. Yeah.
yeah.
Instead of just leaving them out there for the wolves, you know?
hmm Yeah, at least
So,
if you place them with someone within our team, we have the same culture, like we're all
mhm.
doing this for the same reason here. So yeah, that's huge. That was a good one, Sandy.
Hey, I just wanted to remind everyone that Patrick Ferry thing's at 11:30 today if you signed up for it the other day, or if you didn't. So
Thank you. Okay, that's all I have, folks.
Great job, Rusty. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys for showing up today. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rusty. It was very emotional today.
Sorry. We
Hey,
can take
Cog.
that baggage out later.
next week we'll have a
You guys,
count.
I just love you guys so much. Go sell something.
Hey, guys.
Everyone have a
Bye,
great day. Be
guys.
Thanks, Russ.
successful. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks.
Okay.